Greetings, webheads, and welcome to episode 32 of Witty Banter, yet another Marvel Crisis Protocol podcast. I'm Patrick.
I'm Alex.
I'm Merlin.
This is JP.
We are here to help you get better at and have more fun with your Crisis Protocol. This is the closest we get to an emergency podcast because AMG has dropped their long-awaited 2025, May 2025 updated cards and updated character cards and tactics cards. So we are just going to walk you through all of them. We're just going to dive right in and get started because we got a lot of stuff to cover. So first, let's start with the tactics cards. There are 5 of them that are listed. 7 Sons of Cinnabis, Vapors of Valtor, Magnetic Crush, Mutant Traitor, and Astral Ring. For the most part, according to AMG's explanatory document, they have just cleaned up and clarified the tactics cards, and we didn't make any substantive changes. So, David, I know you had ID'd specifically Astral Ring as something you wanted to talk about. So, what are your thoughts on the new Astral Ring?
Okay, so I guess I should explain the change.
Yes, please.
So, back in the day when I first started playing Wizards, right? I really liked this card a lot. And there was an interaction that came up on the Crisis Scoundrels, where basically the previous Astral Ring said you count as if you were contesting the objective. But that was very ambiguous, and it basically led to meaning that the token was contesting, not the character was contesting. So what would happen was you couldn't get cover if the Astral Ring was contesting a token or contesting a objective, and you couldn't deny cover if you were contesting the same objective as somebody else. So it just ended up weird and stupid. And then I actually ended up making a rules question about this on the forums, and I'm pretty sure this is the reason why they changed it. So what they changed it to is now you contest at basically the token counts as your base for contesting, which means that if you're contesting a scoundrel with it, you get cover, and if you're contesting it and you're attacking somebody else who's contesting it, you deny their cover, which is really strong, actually.
So basically what it means is that the token, for all intents and purposes, counts as the model for purposes of Scoundrels.
Yes, or any other crisis that does something if you're contesting.
Okay, so why don't you talk a little bit about how that, you said that makes it really strong. Why does that make it different?
Well, because when I was playing Wizards before, I was running Scoundrels, and then I was like, oh, this doesn't work on Scoundrels. Why am I running Scoundrels? This is stupid. So them changing it makes me go, okay, now I actually kind of want to play Scoundrels to abuse this. It also, did they change Infinity Formula to score the power in the cleanup, or is it still in power phase?
It's still in power.
I will
Should
take
still
your
be in
word.
power. I think only Scoundrels, that's the only reason this changes anything.
Yeah, I think so. I guess it mattered for like anything that happens in cleanup, like previously the not Fisk, but I believe. No, I guess it wouldn't matter because the old demon said, I think, if you were in range 1, not if you were contesting. But it
Yeah,
does
because
feature.
you could incinerate like Nebula and stuff, so they didn't have to be contesting.
Yeah, they don't have to be. But I guess it also future proofs any crisis that has an effect like that. I definitely like it, and I am excited to talk about Astral Ring with the changes to Doctor Strange.
Okay. So is it that the card made a change or just that the rules interpretation was dropped to interpret the card?
It was dropped to interpret the card and to make it more. It just like makes sense now as opposed to like being like, oh, this token counts
Right.
as if.
So
Right.
there was language change though to the card, enough to make it
Yeah,
not ambiguous.
Yeah, the old one did say the token contests as if it were this character or something like that. It was definitely really weirdly worded.
Yeah, the old card read, when measuring ranges of this character's attacks or superpowers, measure from the projection token instead. This character does not contest the objective tokens normally. Instead, the projection token contests all objectives as if it were this character. So
Yeah, basically the old argument was that the token contests, not the character.
Right. And now it's clear this character contests objective tokens as if that projection token was its base. So it does clarify that the token counts as the character's base.
For purposes of contesting, yes.
Correct. Okay. Other than that, and that's more just kind of a quality of life clarification. For the other 4 cards, Seven Sons of Cinnabis, Vapors of Valtor, Magnetic Crush, and Mutant Trader, the cards don't play any different than they're supposed to play. They're just written in such a way where it's less confusing. Is that my am I understanding that correctly in terms of the update of the tactics cards?
Something like the clarification and changing on Mutant Trader made it better for whatever reason. I'm trying to figure that out. Patrick, do you have the old card on you?
I don't think it made it better, did it? Because I'm looking at it too. I think it consolidated 2 lines to make it a little less redundant. Instead of like saying that he takes damage on double wild, he just takes. Wait.
So the old one on
if an attack roll contains 2 or more. So maybe the old one.
So the old one on overcharge, when you roll 2 wilds, this character counts all wild results as attack rolls as 2 successes. After all attacks are resolved from the beam attack, this character suffers 1 damage. So what they've done is they've taken out after all attacks are resolved, if the attack contains 2 or more wilds, the character suffers a damage. So it doesn't lead to a possibility of reading it where you take a damage whether or not you got the 2 wilds.
Actually, you know what? Now that I'm looking at it, hold on. You see how much prep we do for this show, right? It's insane.
It's an emergency.
Well, while you're thinking about that, why the fuck didn't they change this card? This card is dumb because they changed how Gambit works, but then like they basically added Gambit's ability onto the double wild effect, which makes it stupid.
Well, Bishop's making the attack, not Gambit.
Right.
Oh, I see.
Right.
Yeah.
So Bishop basically gets what Gambit has on his card now.
Yep.
But
If he rolls double wilds.
But then he takes a damage for it.
So I think they made it so that Bishop can only take 1 damage from this card instead of multiple damage.
I believe that's how the wording works.
So it did make it better. Because the old one had it linked to the double wild overcharge, and it says after all attacks are resolved, this character suffers 1. So you would be able, basically you would have to like
So if you're shooting a beam,
it would do a damage with every time you attack rather than just the one time if you rolled one.
It would nest the damage packets till the end.
Right. So
and then you could take
go ahead.
Yeah. Then you could take, multiple damage if you rolled 2 wilds on more than 1 attack. Whereas now it just says after all attacks, if any attack roll contained 2 or more wild results, this character suffers 1.
Yeah.
So it's limited to 1 damage. So it is better. Alex is right.
Okay. Although I think that's probably the way it was supposed to read anyway, but regardless, so
probably.
Either way, it's either better or clearer. Either way.
Bishop's like the king of getting his health nickeled and dimed anyway, right?
Well, not anymore.
Not anymore. Well, I know, right?
So we'll get to that. I mean, I think there's an open question in terms of how impactful this particular updated cards is going to be, and we'll talk about that. But Bishop is definitely one of the characters that's happier about the upgrade. So, but before we get there, we're talking about tactics cards. So, is there anything else that you guys think is either remarkable or that we need to talk more about in terms of the changes to the tactics cards?
I think everything else is pretty unremarkable.
Yeah.
The vapors, they just changed the wording to say, like, referring to Doctor Strange himself and then choosing a different character. They just kind of cleaned up the wording there a little bit. And then Doctor Strange doing the rerolls.
Yep.
So I suppose it makes that card better too, actually, right? Because how does that work? If Doctor Strange is doing the rerolling and he rerolls attacker's dice and they roll a shield, Doctor Strange gains a power now?
He's not rolling the dice.
No.
He's modifying the dice.
Yeah, he's re-rolling the attacker's dice.
Hey, reroll any number of the attacker's dice.
It's like ASM's quip.
Yeah.
But
wait. Hold on.
It is actually better.
Alex, what is ASM's power called?
It's called Witty Banter.
It's a good podcast name.
It is, yes. It's called Witty Banter, but I just think
there we go. Okay.
Seriously, though, this card did get better because now that Doctor Strange is modifying it, if he puts it on an enemy character, he can modify skulls with it.
Is that good? Oh, well.
On attack, it is really good, right? Rerolling skulls on an attack.
So if you Vapors of Valtor an enemy, if it's because it's Doctor Strange is putting it on there, he gets to reroll skull. Does the attacker get to reroll skulls?
Yeah, because it says Strange is rerolling the dice.
Okay. So if Strange puts a Vapors on an enemy and then Clea,
and you attack it,
and then Clea comes up and attacks that character, Clea gets to re-roll the skulls because it's technically Doctor Strange that's doing the re-rolling.
Yes, and because he can modify skulls with the orb.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The only time I played against this was once at Squad Goals very recently, and he played it on his allied character, not on my character. So yeah, playing it is kind of like a 2/3 chance to get a Dark Rain. It's good if
Right.
Doctor Strange is doing it because you do have the reroll skulls for sure. So it is better. David is right.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
and with that, couldn't you use the Vapors reroll and then Doctor Strange reroll?
No, because
No,
Doctor
Or,
Strange
he's
or is it
not
the other way
making the
around?
attack.
Doctor Strange reroll and then
well, if Doctor
You-
Strange is doing the attack, you could, couldn't you?
right.
Yeah,
Right.
Yes.
you could do that if Doctor Strange is attacking. We're talking
Okay.
about like if someone else attacks
Right.
the target.
Yeah,
Since
sorry, I
Doctor
should have
Strange is doing the
specified
rerolling.
who was attacking.
Yeah.
Okay. So Vapor's got a slight buff. Mutant Trader got cleaned up to make it not silly. Astral Ring, David, you talked about. Seven Sons of Cinnabus and Magnetic Crush, it's fair to say that both of those are what they were, just with the language cleaned up a little bit.
Yeah, so for Magnetic Crush they moved all the like attack specific text into the attack itself. Like
Right.
into the attack profile rather than like listing it below. It looks like that's what all they did.
Yeah.
Because you can destroy size 3 within 2 of the defender, add dice equal to the attack, or add dice to the attack equal to the combined size. 4 damage is dealt, enemy characters within 2. Yeah, that's all they did.
Yep.
It still costs the same, same profile.
Yeah. So
Which, like, why didn't they make this card better? This card sucks.
Yeah,
So
they could have made this better.
So the card isn't any better, but it's clearer. So there's that.
I feel like out of all the cards that they reworked here, Magnetic Crush needed the most help in terms of just power level and usage.
Well, I think we kind of thought that Magneto himself kind of needed that. So, and again, spoiler alert, that's not a conversation we're having. But that's left alone. Seven Sons of Cinema, same thing, is kind of left alone, other than just being clarified. So, anything else that we want to talk about or go over tactics cards before we move into the characters? Okay, then let's start. So, for those of you following along at home, I'm gonna go just in the order that they came in on the print to play PDF. So we are going to start with Bullseye. Bullseye, in addition to getting some new character art, which I'm not going to lie, I really like, it looks like the change on the card is that his throwing knives, his gainer, went from range 4 to range 3. Are there any other changes to Bullseye that got made on this update?
Not that I could see.
They
No.
got my fucking goat, man. They got my goat.
So, how big a deal is this? I mean, I know that Bullseye's near and dear to your heart, David. How substantive is knocking his gainer down from 4 to 3 in terms of how he's going to play?
Well, I mean, it definitely hurts because he's got hit and run, right? So now it's much harder, well, not harder, but like if he's out of range, he can't like hit and run to get into a better position to make an attack. So he loses an attack essentially because he has to move now.
Right.
Which is, I mean, it's not going to affect his play too much, but it definitely makes a difference on his like what he can attack round one for sure. And
I think it's gonna hurt him a lot.
Yeah, I think it's going to hurt him too because now the loss of the fact that it ignores cover is less valuable because he's going to be closer. So
Just shrinking his range band is kind of nasty for him because I don't know the number, but the amount of characters who actually have a range 4 attack, like a substantial range 4 attack, are pretty low, generally speaking. But like once you get into range 3, so many characters have a range 3 attack. So if he's in range 3 to be attacking anybody, they're gonna be able to attack him back. I mean, he can hit and run, but I don't know. It's gonna get weird, and I think being only range 3 is really gonna affect his target choices. He's gonna have to get a lot closer to the fight, and generally speaking, he's not gonna be able to attack as many people.
yeah, because he generally wants to be like, oh, you have 1 health. Let me plink you and then hit and run somewhere else and hit somebody else who has 1 health, right?
Yeah, I mean, he wants to be at the edge of the fight, and being at edge of 4 and edge of 3 are way different.
Right.
Yeah, it makes me a little sad. He might I don't know, he might go away in my Apocalypse roster.
Yeah, I think Shield is gonna like him less now because they want to play Crisis like Infinity and stuff where they can abuse the range bands, and him being range 3 is kind of weird.
I definitely think he'll still get play in like his affiliations like Cabal and Criminal Syndicate, because I mean an affiliated too is priceless. But I don't know if he'll really get splashed much anymore. Maybe here and there, but it'll be rare because I mean we'll be talking about Toad here in a bit too. But like even Toad is still, I think, super good and just worth it for an objective play still. But yeah, I don't know. I don't hate it, but I just don't know if Bullseye's really going to be taken as often as he used to.
Yeah, I think the nerf is fine, but it definitely is going to reduce his play and make him more vulnerable on the table.
Absolutely.
Okay. So next on our list is Doctor Strange, original OG Doctor Strange, which he is one of the characters that got quite a bit of a change. So his stamina on his injured side went from 6 to 7. The Bolt of Bedevilment, his builder, adds a pierce now on a block. His Oster's Refuge, his healing ability, goes from range 2 to range 3. The Hoggasthori Wisdom, his reroll ability, allows for a reroll of, allows dice to be added to dodge rolls. And Eye of Agamotto can reroll dodge roll. And then once again, on a character update, defenders get a new leadership. So he's got a whole new leadership, Judgment of the Vishanti. Once per turn, after an attack made by an allied character is resolved, if the attack dealt damage, or if the target character has a threat of 5 or more, the attacking character may use this leadership ability. If they do, the target character gains the Hex special condition. David, you're our resident wizard. How does this change affect where original Doctor Strange sits in the pantheon of characters?
Oh man, I really, really like these changes. First of all, Pierce is fantastic. Even if it is on blocks, it's just Pierce is so good. Especially
Oh,
because if he needs damage to push his to do his push.
Yep.
And like now that he has Pierce, that's gonna happen more often.
and his power generation gets better with it too, because not only is it more likely going to do damage because of Pierce, it's on a block, so he gets the power just because he rolled block.
Yeah, it's essentially turning basically he gets to count a shield as a hit is basically what it's doing.
Yeah,
Right. So and like he's getting double power for one hit.
It's not as good as that, but kind of, yeah.
right.
It kind of, yeah. It's a poor man's version.
Right, because if the defender whiffs their defense roll, it doesn't do you any good.
Yeah. But there's no strange players in the game who don't like seeing shields in their dice
Sure.
roll.
Sure.
So, I mean, obviously on defense, but even on offense, they're like, I get a power, whatever. Now, I mean, it might push another damage, or push a damage, and get you the push and another power. Like, that's just money right there. Plus, it's an energy attack. You get reroll all on it. So,
And it's
having
range
reroll
four, so, I mean,
all
that's just
makes
super good.
having reroll all on your character makes it a lot more likely that you end up with a shield in your dice pool as opposed to reroll any.
Yeah, the only downside is you can't pick your dice. You have to
Right.
reroll all of them.
Well, that's
so
what
if you
I'm
already have
saying.
the shield. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But I'm saying, like, if you pick up all your dice, like, you're probably, I mean, there's a decent chance you have a shield again.
For sure.
So how big a deal is changing his healing range from range 2 to range 3 on a medium base?
I mean, it's 50% more, right?
No, it's
Like
100%
you're
more.
doubling his range, or 100% more. You're doubling his range, right? So it's really good. Like
Well,
before, you almost never would use that heal, and now I feel like
you had to really set it up.
Yeah, it was
even-
weird. But
Just matching the range band on his shield is really good, right? Now all his defensive stuff is just range 3.
I mean,
and
and it's pay 3 to heal 3. I mean, most of the heals that are in the game now, paying 3 to heal 2. So that seems really good.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, now it's functionally med pack on a stick, right?
Right.
Mhm. It makes me pretty happy that I started playing defenders before the change here. Like it makes me even happier now.
Well, I want to talk.
Yeah,
I
he's
want to talk
definitely
about
ending up in
leadership.
my convocation roster.
Yeah, which is good.
take a shot.
Drink. Yeah, anything that gets iconic characters on the table, I am all for, and I do think this will make a difference. Adding the dodge rolls, it does seem like it's a bit of a theme with the updates that AMG has realized that dodge rolls are important too, so maybe we should add those. So I think that's good. So
That's such a big change for him. Being
It
able to reroll dodge
Yeah.
rolls and add dice for dodge rolls for his whole team. That's insane.
yep.
I think that's going to be
It's so good.
it's going to be really impactful to the game.
And it's not once per
Well,
turn. Is it?
and no, it's not.
Yeah,
But the thing
it's
was
super
before,
good.
you would just like throw shit at Strange, right? You're like, oh, he's got 3 physical. I'll just throw shit at him. He'll die eventually, right?
Right. And now that's not
Now
really-
he's
now that's
yeah.
not
Now he's going to be probably rolling 5 defense dice. Like, whoo, 5
re-rolling them.
dodge dice, and re-rolling him is pretty good.
Okay, so let's talk about his leadership. So it's an entirely different leadership. His old leadership was Mystic and Power. Once per turn, when an allied character declares an attack before choosing a target, spend a power. It could choose its attack type, physical, energy, or mystic, and then if it dealt a damage, the target character got hex. Now, as all you have to do is either do damage or the target character is size 5, or excuse me, is threat 5 or more, and it does a hex, but you don't get to choose its attack type. So is this new leadership better, worse, or just different?
I would say personally, I think it's like it's different, and it's just there was no movement one way or the other. It, it's got bad parts to it. It's got good parts to it. I like it. I don't hate it at all, especially the fact that you don't have to spend the power beforehand and you could do nothing and it was a waste of time. But it stinks because you don't get to pick the attack type anymore. So there's good and bad.
I guess that's why I'm asking. I mean, it does seem like the ability to pick a target's weakest defense, in addition to doing everything else, is kind of incinerate on a stick. And now you don't have that. What you're doing is more consistently handing out. So is losing the ability to choose the attack type worth getting a more consistent hex applied? JP, what do you think?
I would argue that it's a less consistent hex, honestly, depending on who you're playing against. Because, like you said, it's kind of incinerate on the stick, so
because you
the
still
hex
have
is
to do
contingent
damage.
on damage. So
Right.
I mean, unless you're playing against a bunch of 5, 6, 7 threat kaiju teams
Right.
all the time.
Right.
Plus, like, okay, so hex. What are the things that it can? I mean, obviously there's a ton of stuff running around in the meta right now, but like Ihulk's being the hex, who would get auto hexed. Ghost Rider's immune to auto hex.
Yep.
Malekith's immune to hex.
Yeah. So I guess like Namor, Jane.
Hey, you can get Magneto.
Oh yeah, Magneto with that glow up he got here.
APOC can get it on his front side.
APOC wants it but APOC wants it on his backside.
He really wants it.
I don't know.
I think it's worse. I don't like it as much.
So
David,
I think it depends. I think it depends on the character, right? Because I was thinking about this earlier. Somebody like Shang-Chi, right? Shang-Chi, he's affiliated defenders, and he can already choose two attack types. So, like, he doesn't really care about making it physical.
Right.
But now he can do it for free, means that, like, all of a sudden you can, like, stagger, stun, and hex someone. That's pretty good.
So you're saying that the leadership makes a borderline broken character more borderline broken. Awesome.
Well,
or he can pick energy if it's their weakest defense.
I guess,
and have a better chance of landing the hex.
He also has to spend power before, so like if he charges and he has no power, then he can't do it, right?
Sure.
It just wasn't
a very
as valuable, Sam.
Specific use case for it. I mean, I don't. What's your verdict? You like it more or less than the old one?
Oh, I like it. Well, okay. I was gonna say the other character that I think this is pretty good on is Hawkeye, because Hawkeye didn't really care either, but now if he uses it, he's more likely to have the ability to like what's his stupid fast draw. So now he can fast draw and he doesn't have to spend the extra power to change the type, right? So if somebody attacks him outside of 3, like he could possibly shock and hex them before they even get to attack, which is actually kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Or you can pick Mystic with him now and make it more likely to hex. And who's playing Hawkeye and not sitting on 9 power anyway?
That's fair. That is fair. Okay. Any kind of last thoughts on glowed up Doctor Strange before we move on?
What do you think of the leadership, Patrick? Do you like the new one or the old one better?
I kind of feel like it's not as good, but nobody played Doctor Strange's leadership before, so maybe it's. I mean, I guess the leadership couldn't have been that great because Doctor Strange never saw the table. So I think it's a slight downgrade. In the main, it's a slight downgrade. I think there are certain matchups for which it's much better. And I mean, primarily going against higher threat characters, which I mean, I guess giving defenders, who are kind of a whole bunch of little, as Yelena would say, just a bunch of people who punch and shoot. Giving them more tools against a kaiju is probably a good thing in the main.
I do think it's kind of cool how they're introducing this 5 threat or higher type like monster hunter.
Yeah, where they're
abilities.
adding contingencies based on threat level. That's new in the game. I agree. I think it's a cool mechanic.
I like that mechanic because I believe the next character on the list is Clea, and she also has something like it. So I think it's a great idea.
So everybody needs to take a shot because I'm going to reference convocation here. We're talking about Strange.
Drink.
Oh, Jesus.
Everybody is going to be drunk by the end of this episode if you play along, because I'm fairly certain he's already mentioned Shield too back when we talked about Bullseye. So you're three shots in, ladies and gentlemen.
You can't retroactively have us drink. It's against the rules.
I still got 2 more wizards to go after this, so go ahead.
God damn it.
I know. Everybody's going to be fucked up by the end of this episode.
Someone swat David's house.
All right, let me talk about Strange. So Strange, I really like the changes to this guy for convocation because convocation was already weak on the physical side, so like dodging shit was their problem. And adding his ability to give dice for dodges suddenly changes the whole dynamic.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's sneaky the biggest change on the card.
The other thing is that because they adjusted the range of his heal, so I can go back and reference Astral Ring. So Astral Ring, right? So if I'm playing Infinity, right? And I've got Strange parked on the front side of the Infinity formula. He can throw out an Astral Ring at range 3, and then he can attack 2 people, probably push them off the point, and then take it and heal somebody that's on that other side. Or he could because you measure the range of the power from the token, making it when it was range 2, you couldn't really heal anybody. But now that it's range 3, you can actually push the range on it and heal stuff, which is pretty cool. The other thing you can do is so this is a little bit of getting into the jank tank, right? So convocation have a tactics card called Orb of, I don't know what the fuck it is. It's Orb of something. Basically lets you teleport. Yeah.
Amaretto,
teleport for. It's definitely something. We'll just call it oranges. Orb of oranges. It lets you place your model range 3. Any convocation characters can spend 3 and they can place themselves. It's basically Rainbow Bridge. So what you can do with this card is that the card doesn't have a trigger where it triggers. Most cards will say during this character's activation. Well, Orb doesn't say during this character's activation, which means that you can play it before you activate a model. So you can play it on a B, for instance. Say Strange is on the inside of a B. He can play Orb of Agamotto, or whatever it is.
It's Agamotto.
Amaretto.
Yeah. So you can play Orb, and you can port 3, and then you can activate Strange, and then play Astral Ring and project the token onto the other B. So you can totally basically pivot where Strange is and where he's contesting on like a B or a D or basically anywhere he wants to be, which is pretty fucking cool. And the other thing with that too is Astral Ring. So because of the way Astral Ring works, you can't displace Strange and keep him from contesting. He contests no matter where he's at. So if you throw him away, if you push him away, doesn't matter. He still contests. You have to daze him or KO him, which is like pretty awesome, especially at the secures that count for 2 VPs, like the Wedding and Fisk. Like, it's pretty good.
Well, plus you've done that and you haven't used an action yet.
I don't know if this is David's jank tank. I think it's his spank bank.
It probably is.
You are.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't get to. He still gets to make his attack actions, which if you place, so you can do some really interesting placement on the token there. But you could place it so that you could contest the back infinity formula and then attack the opposite end infinity formula and have Strange have started on the other side of the table at the other infinity formula.
Just a clarification, probably a noob question. If he's got Astral Ring out and he's contesting 1 point and then his model is sitting on another point, is he contesting both of them or is it just the one that he's got the Astral Ring on?
Just the one he has the ring on, because he makes all, because it counts as his base.
Okay. Anything else on new Doctor Strange before we move on?
I'm glad he got an extra health on his injured side. A 5 threat with 12 health just felt weird. I know he had the healing, but it felt weird.
Well, that's fair.
I'm gonna be interested to see if anyone splashes him in Steve, because he's always been kind of a consideration, but gets edged out by other picks, especially with Cable affiliated. But
yeah, an honorary Avenger.
But
Give
man,
him, what's the card?
Steve loves adding dodge dice. I'll tell you that.
Having that 1 power add 2 any dice is crazy, and then like being able to heal your team at range 3, like healing Steve is ludicrous.
Healing in 3 for 2 power. Hello, reserve
1
member.
Power.
That's 3 to start.
Oh, it's 3. I thought it was 2 start.
Yeah.
My apologies.
Then it's. I mean, it could be pretty good.
Yeah, I really like it.
You can do this all day.
Literally.
Next on our list is Clea, who they did promise they were gonna be helping out. She does have a new alter ego. She is now Clea Strange. Her stamina went from 5 to 6 on her healthy side. Her icy tendrils of Ichthalon is slightly less hard to get the stagger off. Now it's wild hit crit, where before it was wild hit crit shield. So I'm not entirely certain how great that is, but at least it is easy. The biggest change, and probably the change that needed to happen, was Descendants of the thing where she rolled dice to get power. Before, every skull rolled 5, every skull took a damage, so she could kill it. Now, if she rolls any skulls, she takes 2 damage. So at least you know what it's going to be before you pick it up and roll the dice. So you can't accidentally kill Clea by rolling to get extra power. Her Vapors of Dormammu, which is her teleport, is now range 4 instead of range 3. And she got a new superpower, Talons of Farala. When this character or another allied character within 4 of this character makes an attack during the create attack dice pool step, the character may use the superpower. This character attacker adds 2 dice to the attack roll. If the attack deals damage and the defender has a threat of 5 or more after the attack is resolved, the defender gets the Judgment special condition. Can only be used once per turn. David, is Clea good now?
Pour your shots, gentlemen.
Wizards are back, baby!
There's your fourth shot.
So is
I
go ahead.
quite like the changes to Clea. One, the extra health is huge. Like, so many times you leave a 5 health model that you would have left on 1. Like, it happens all the time. The other thing that I like about her is that extra dice thing. The extra dice thing is really good. I really quite like it. Like, I mean, shout out to what I was saying earlier about Hawkeye, right? Now Hawkeye can, if you fast draw with Hawkeye, you could do this, and all of a sudden now if he's using Strange's leadership, he's shocking you, judging you, and
hexing you.
And possibly hexing you. Like, that's pretty good.
Jesus. Hold on a fucking second. Did David's 2 affiliations just have a baby? What the fuck is happening right now?
I think it makes up for the nerf that Bullseye took. Besides,
it definitely does.
I mean, let's face it, David. I mean, Hawkeye is your new favorite child now. I mean, Bullseye's been pushed out of the nest.
I do love me guys who can punch and shoot.
Pushed out the nest. David like fucking put that kid up for adoption. Fuck that.
I think he's in a forest chopped up in a suitcase.
That does feel more like how Bullseye's going to meet his end. I'm not going to lie. JP, what do you think? What do you think of the new Clea?
Okay, so I think she would still be trash if she didn't get the dice thing. Adding the dice thing probably puts her in a position where she will get used in her affiliations. She probably still won't get splashed, I don't think. Having that 2 physical sucks still.
That is so fucking rough. 2 physical is just so bad.
Yeah.
Sounds like she might want to be around someone who can add dodge dice for her.
The bump from range 3 to 4 on the teleport is not insignificant. It's, I mean, range, like we were talking about Bullseye, like 2 inches is quite a bit in game terms. I think the faultine thing, I think overall, I mean, I think you can objectively say that she's going to be taking more damage from it now. But you don't run the risk of totally screwing the pooch with rolling just a handful of skulls.
Yeah, I think on average she's going to take more damage.
I think
she definitely will. 100%.
I think that's probably true, but it just takes the. I mean, even though the odds of it are low, it takes the ridiculous. It takes the ridiculous circumstance of taking 4 damage off the table. It's just. It just makes her card feel better and make more sense, even if it actually might be a little bit worse.
Yeah, I mean, we're not. So when I saw that, I thought of like I thought of the Invincible Iron Man, right? Because if he's got basically a spender that's kind of like Empty the Clip from War Machine, but instead of taking damage from all the crits, he's only taking 2. But the thing with Empty the Clip is that it's an 8 dice attack, and crits can crit into more crits and create this crazy scenario where you have a million crits somehow. But you're only rolling 5 dice and you're counting skulls. Like, it's almost half the dice pool, and skulls aren't critting into more skulls. So I don't think it gets insane like that, but you know, you'll have those rolls where you pick up 5 dice and you roll them and you'll have like 3 or 4 skulls in there. But I mean, chance of rolling a skull on one die is 1 out of 8. So rolling 2 and 5 dice is very unlikely. And that's how many you would have to roll prior to this change to take 2 damage. So she's definitely going to be taking more damage. That's slightly offset by the extra health on the front. But the extra health on the front actually doesn't make a new breakpoint for that if you're not being attacked.
Right.
So like you take 2, 2, 2, and no matter what, you're still dead.
Right.
So I don't think, I mean, that change just kind of like patches like feel bad moments, but I think it's generally worse. I don't know. The spike really sucks. Like you're going in, you're taking your activation, you do the thing, you roll the dice, and then you're like, well, fuck, I don't even have an activation. She's dead. That feels really bad, but the chances of that happening are pretty low. Like even with Nuclea, like, okay, she's at 2 health. You can't do the thing. She has to be at 3 or more. So like old Clea, I would risk doing the superpower at 3 health. Like, okay, sure. If I roll 3 skulls, whatever, I guess it's meant to be. So overall, the extra health, cool. The plus range on the teleport, cool. The extra attack dice, really fucking cool. And the change to the whatever it is, the faultine, I guess it's fine. It's better in a way, but she's gonna be taking more damage from it.
Alex, any other thoughts on? I don't think it's Mrs. Strange in the lore because I think she actually just took it in honor of Strange. It wasn't a marriage thing. But either way, what do you think of Clea?
I like her. She definitely got a glow up. I like the combo with her and Mordo. Busting 4 extra dice if you wanted to be neat, but she's fine. I don't think she's completely useless, and she'll actually get play in affiliations now. So that's good.
Well, I don't know that I've ever seen Clea on the table. So the fact that it might result in her making an appearance, I think is pretty cool.
I feel like she might actually cannibalize Mordo's spot a little bit.
I could see that.
I think she does. She's definitely cannibalizing it in my current roster. So,
like, they kind of do the same. They're both supporty. They can both like do their own version of meditate. They don't have great attacks. I guess Mordo's like range 4 on his attacks, which is kind of cool. Hers are range 3, but she has a superpower throw. Mordo does not. I think that probably puts her over the edge in MCP terms, because who gives a fuck if Mordo can shoot a 4 dice attack from range 4? Like, I'd rather be able to like throw a size 2.
Yeah, terrain or character.
and it's range 3. I will also say that in Convocation, you can kill her for books,
Ironbound books.
which is kind of a cool idea.
And you know you'll kill her. You know it'll happen.
Ah, bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Any last thoughts on Clea before we move on? All right. Next we have Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme. It looks like the only change to Supreme Strange is his Eye of Agamotto, where he can reroll and modify skulls. And he can, if he's attacking, defending, or dodging, he can reroll all of his dice. So, were there any other changes to Supreme Strange other than adding dodges to his Agamotto roll?
Boo, they didn't give my boy an extra health. I don't know what the fuck. They gave the other Strange extra health, but not him? This is stupid.
Well, yeah, but now
Nah,
he can.
fuck Strange.
Now he can reroll. Now he can reroll dodges.
They both gained that.
I know. So is this, how big a deal is it that that Supreme Strange can reroll his dodges?
I mean, it's definitely better than it was before, but like, it's probably not gonna matter that much.
Do we think this is AMG kind of telegraphing that this is basically what they're going to do for all their re that anytime we're going to be talking about it's going to be attack, defense, or dodge?
I don't think so.
No, I think the only reason why they updated Supreme Strange is because they changed it on the other Strange, and it would look weird to have two Stranges with the same superpower that does two different things.
That's fair. That's fair. Anything else on Supreme Strange?
Patrick is really
Can I
baiting
just,
that
like-
extra shot.
Can I just like cross out his back health of 6 and put 7 in there?
How much of it? So you've played a lot of him. How much would that extra health on his back have made a difference?
Oh man, so many times I've had Strange just died to the exact number. It's
Right.
stupid.
All right, our next contestant is Cosmic Ghost Rider, and this is basically, I mean, how many times has CGR been reworked? Is it 2 or 3?
Nothing changed
Neither.
with this card. They just didn't have his card as a print to play, and with the FAQ and changes. So
No, I know. I mean, like over the course of his character being, since he was first released, he's been at least twice. He's been changed. So
I think it's only once, right?
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
just
it's only
once.
once.
Oh, was
He
it
only got
only-
nerfed once.
Okay. Well, it looks like basically now all of the changes for CGR are the same place, and now we have a correct character card for him. So nothing's different with regards to him. Next is X-23. There are 2 changes to her card. First is a timing change with Frenzy, and the second is they got rid of her adamantium skeleton innate superpower. So now when you're throwing Laura into somebody, she's just a size 2. She's not a size 3. Alex, you've gotten you're sort of our resident mutant. How, with the timing change and the elimination of the adamantium skeleton, how does that change how you're looking at Laura?
I think overall the changes here were good for her. To start, the frenzy change is a big deal because
Lay out exactly what changed.
you'll have to forgive me. I don't remember the exact wording on the frenzy change, what it was previously, but basically when she dazed or KO'd somebody, the trigger happened immediately. So if she dazed or KO'd with like a builder, she wouldn't be able to use power from the builder to use frenzy. Now she can, because it's all the wording is after the attack is resolved. And previously, I don't think that was worded. And it was also confirmed in the forums that no, she would not be able to use the power from a builder to fund frenzy.
Yeah, so the original frenzy talks about if this attack dazes or KOs an enemy character with an attack during this activation, after the attack is resolved. That's the old frenzy. The new frenzy makes it clear that is after that attack is resolved. So it's kind of like what you're saying. So it's once the frenzy attack is resolved, then she can do her frenzy.
Well, what happens here is a nest, right? So like when the attack happens, the frenzy would trigger, which starts a new attack. But because all builders say you gain power after the attack is resolved, you don't get to make the frenzy. You don't get to generate the power because it says after the attack is resolved. So it basically nests it. Now it unnests it is what it does.
So before
you could technically pick the order in which you choose to do them. I don't know why you would choose to do the frenzy before you gain power, but whatever.
So basically, before the change, you had to have 2 power in the bank before you did your attack to frenzy. Now you can use the power you generate from the first attack to frenzy. Am I getting that right?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So between that and not having an adamantium skeleton, because Laura doesn't have an adamantium skeleton. Come on now. Is this how significant of an upgrade is this for X-23? She's already was kind of one of the premier 3-threat killing machines. How much better does this make her?
I don't think it makes her that much better. It makes her better, but I don't think it's like a substantial amount of like, well, she's gonna get splashed everywhere no matter what. It made her better, but nothing crazy.
Not having her get thrown into your ass as size 3 is a lot better.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a lot better. It's also like not as good. In terms of like actually being thrown, because I mean size 2 throws are way more abundant than size 3. So like it sucks that she can get thrown more often, but less damage is way better.
I don't know if that's true though. I don't think like I've been sitting here thinking I don't think there's a lot of size 2 throws in the game relative to like size 3 throws. Now if you go up to size 4 throws, then we're talking about a pretty good breakpoint for
right. But what
a
I'm
lot of characters not having that throw.
There's some characters that only have size 2 throws. So those characters that can do size 3 can do a size 2, but those size 2s didn't have the option to throw her because she was size 3. So now she just has more options to get thrown by, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Is that how it worked? You had to be able to throw a size 3 to throw X-23?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, can be thrown.
What I think,
you're right.
What I think JP's trying to say is there's not that many characters that can only throw size 2 in the game. Like, it's actually not that big when you really think about it.
I mean, Clea can do it.
Yeah, you got Clea, Storm,
OG,
Beast,
Parker,
Valkyrie. I'm running
out.
Yeah,
there's not that many size 2s, but it increased the number of characters that can throw her. So that's definitely worse.
I think I would argue that it's better because the abundance of size 3 throws made her a liability for your team. Whereas like, okay, I'm opening her up to a few size 2 throws in exchange for like not having a size 3 rethrowable character on the table.
Oh, fair. I'm thinking more overall. Like it sometimes just throwing her off a point, whether it does damage or not, is impactful enough too.
I mean, sometimes size is an asset. Like when you get up to size 4, like size 4 poses issues for some lists. So size 4 is generally seen as a pro, even though obviously going up against certain teams, it's going to bite you in the ass. Generally speaking, size 4 is considered a good thing. But I don't know. I think size 2 on her is actually better than size 3, generally speaking. And the assassin thing is she is one of those characters who doesn't have a lot of ways to use power. So the assassin thing is probably not going to come up too much where you wouldn't otherwise have the power, like with her old card. I don't think it's going to change a ton. It'll come up once in a while, but like she literally has her spender and it costs 2. Like that's the only thing she can spend power on aside from the frenzy. So it's kind of whatever. It's fine. It's streamlining some things that we'll see with some of these other characters. I think generally speaking, she's slightly better than she was before, but nothing really to write home about. It's whatever.
I do like that if she like randomly spikes early in the game, then she can like frenzy off of that immediately, like on
Yeah.
round 1 or something stupid.
Right. Okay. Next on our list is Angela. And all the conversation we had about X-23 just shifted over because Angela's Angelic Assassin got the exact same change. Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
Ooh, they should have made this bitch better. Like she was so bad. She's so bad. Like
I am so sad because Angela. I love Angela's character, and I've been trying to make her Guardian, and nothing that made her not work got fixed. So she's pretty much exactly the same, and still, I think, undertuned.
that spender is a fucking steaming pile of dog shit.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. I mean, I guess if you're going up against something really big, it's nice. But
Even then, it's not great.
No, it's really not.
Even then, it's not great. It's fucking Drax's stupid spender is better than that.
Yeah. 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 I am sad that Angela still stays in the tier list where she stayed in.
This was a missed opportunity.
I am sad that Angela stays where she's going to stay because I tried to make her work and I had to put her back on anytime. Anything else?
Like she's such a sweet model. Like she's from the Spawn universe. Like she's really cool. But like,
I know.
Fuck.
I know.
Four dice on a spender is so fucking bad. So stupid.
Well, it's. I mean,
on a 5 threat.
For a 2, I mean, going into a size 2, it's 6 dice. So that's.
There are 3 threats with extremely better spenders than that. Like,
I know.
That's fucking awful.
Dude, I'm trying here. Come on. Next on our list is Heimdall Seeing. And he just got one change. His all-seeing eye, which is basically his dice modification, moved to range 4. So now he can be at range 4 to reroll attack dice, defense dice, dodging dice, crisis card dice, or team tactics card dice. And I think he's still the only character that can reroll crisis or tactics cards. Is that right?
Black Panther can do it.
Oh, okay.
Do it on crises, not tactics cards.
Right.
That's right. Okay.
If it's his all-seeing eyes, why the fuck is this have a range on it?
I know. I thought the same. I thought the same thing. It went from range 3 seeing eyes to better, but it's not all. That is fair.
Heimdall's old, man. He's got cataracts.
I could see you on this other fucking planet, but like I can't see you if you're 100 meters away from me. What is going on?
So we're saying here is that the glow up here is that Heimdall got glow.
They should have just made this card unlimited range. I don't know why they didn't.
Does this move the needle at all for Heimdall?
No.
I don't know. I think it kind of does a little bit. I don't think I don't think he's way better, but well, anybody who's played with somebody like Cable or Doctor Strange, and they've turned around and played with Shiri or like Sentinel Prime. Like a range 4 reroll bubble is way better than a range 3 reroll bubble. It increases the area that you cover by a pretty substantial amount.
Yeah. And I suppose if you're playing,
I mean it's essentially 8 inches on both sides. Like
right.
That's what she said.
So if you're playing Heimdall as a back point setter and a support piece, I suppose now that you can, well, and it means that it mirrors his Guardians of the Bifrost teleport too. So both his teleport and his reroll are. So you can park him range 4 away from everything and just have him be supporting the rest of your roster.
Yeah, I mean he's still gonna have his power issues, but
Right.
the range
Yup,
is
that's
good.
That's why I said no, strictly just based on the power issues and like how often is he getting played now? Is it really going to go that much more?
They should have bumped his strike up to range 3. If they would have done that, I would be much more pleased with this character.
All right. So next on our list is Bishop. And Bishop got one change, and they changed the thing on his character that didn't make sense. So his overload power, which is he takes a damage if he has 8 power or more, he takes a damage. Now that happens in the cleanup phase instead of the power phase. So much like what they learned with cubes, that means that you're not dazing Bishop, flipping him over, and he's automatically starting with a damage. Since he has 5 health on his back to start with, basically more often than not, he's going to start with 4 health. So how much of it...
And he also doesn't get randomly fucking KO'd if he had 1 health going into the next round, or dazed, I mean.
Right.
And you lose his activation if that happens,
Right.
which is really dumb.
Right.
Yeah.
So how much better...
Before it was if he had 7 power, essentially.
Right.
Because you gain 1 for the power phase.
Yep. So how much better does this make Bishop? Bishop did not seem to be seeing a lot of table time before. Does this make it more likely that he gets put on the table?
Yeah, I think so. I think he... I mean, that was my only real complaint about him, was that he could like randomly fucking die, and he would start another round with like 4 health, which was also equally stupid.
Yeah, that's pretty punishing.
I mean, this guy has... he has Bill's throw. Like, that's pretty good.
But he's not Bill.
Yeah, he is not Bill. But his kid is still pretty good. I think
it's good.
He's
I would have liked to have seen another health on his back. In addition.
Yeah. Alex, what do you think of where Bishop stands in the mutant list?
I think it really helps him quite a bit. Everybody that I saw had the same wish it happened literally any time other than the power phase.
Right.
I never had any issues with it because, frankly, I aside from... Actually, no, it's never happened to me. It has not happened to me once. And I've put him on the table at least 10 times.
You heard it here, folks. Pro Bishop player.
All right.
Well, far from. But my point is, I would just never put him in an opportunity where he was going to get whacked for the damage. Like, I would have him throw and spender every opportunity I could. If I need to pump extra dice into it, even though it may not have been the best choice, I still would have done it.
So with this change, does that make it less of an imperative to kind of spend power just to spend power?
Yes.
No, I don't think it does.
Because he's still taking the damage one way or the other.
I think it's easier to math it out. So say you end your activation and you have... It's like a remaining health to like power equation, right? So if you're at full health, you can end your turn with what, 7? Well, you can end your turn with 2 power, and you won't take damage during the cleanup ever. Because if he takes 5, you go to 7, he doesn't take damage. If you take 6, he dazes, you don't take damage.
Right.
I suppose, let me see. The mutant energy absorption kind of fucks that plan, though. Because that's not a may gain power, that's just this character gains power.
Yep.
So if you're rolling wilds, then he does have a chance to do it, which kind of sucks. So you can still do it, like, especially if he's at full health. You could even like throw just like shitty shots into him and make him roll more defense dice and increase the likelihood of getting more wilds to gain more power.
I'm actually not so sure that it really changes with his mutant absorption, because if he's flipping a dice, he's gaining power, but he's also not taking damage, which
So
would
it's
have given him power.
Sure. Well, for one attack, if I walk up and hit him and he rolls out of it and rolls a wild though and blanks one of my die, he gains a power. And then I roll up with a second attack or a different character and punch him for 5. If he had 2 before, he gained 1 from energy absorption. Now he took 5, so he's at 8. And then now he takes another one during cleanup and dies. Right?
Yeah, I guess you could also consider, because the power gain is not a may, but the flipping of the dice is a may. So you could also consider maybe not being like, okay, maybe I just take the damage, right?
Yeah,
that's true. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, like, okay, taking a damage in the cleanup phase isn't the end of the world, typically. It's whatever. You're taking 1 extra damage. I think that's always just going to be part of Bishop's kit. It's just a little less likely to happen now.
Well, it's certainly less catastrophic than taking it in the power phase.
Yeah, being like, it feels bad remaining on 1, going into power phase, dazing. That's fucking terrible.
Well, and I think AMG realized that's something that should never happen, and they wrote it. They wrote it out.
I don't know if they have though, because they didn't put out a Dormammu update yet. So
yeah, well, hopefully, knock on wood, that's coming soon. Hopefully, we'll find out. I mean, I have to give up my
and him also not starting a round after he gets flipped with 1 less health, right? Like that's like just stupid.
Yeah, I mean, starting on your injured side with 4 health is pretty debilitating.
For a 4 threat, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. So, anything else on Bishop before we move on? All right, next is Colossus, and Colossus did get a little bit of a change. So on his strike, his trigger now, instead of draining a power, it's a push for a size 4 or less. On his spender, on his X Slam, he doesn't have stagger anymore. Now he has throw. So if he gets a wild, he can throw a size 4 or less short any direction. And then his big brother got changed to something new. Before it was just kind of a straight up taunt. Now it's 2 power. When the enemy character within 4 of this character targets another allied character with the attack, this character may use the superpower. If the character is within 2 of this attacking character, this character becomes the target of the character regardless of range and line of sight. So that's just its taunt. Otherwise, after that attack is resolved, advance this character towards the attacking character short. So, where does Colossus sit now after these changes? Is he better? Is he worse? Is he the same? What do we think?
X gonna give it to you.
X gonna give it to you. I definitely think it made it better. Like
You play a lot of Colossus, Alex. What's how is he going to play differently?
well, he's got more. Well, I was gonna say he has more control, which is true, but he just has control now. Like he had 0 to begin with. Having the push, way better than concussive. Having the throw, overall, is definitely better than a stagger in most circumstances. Um, stagger was just so good still, but having that throw, it's so much better. And then the taunt, oh my god, so good. I freaking love it. Giving him extra movement is nice, and then it basically makes it almost impossible for him to get thrown away and not be able to taunt on a second attack. Just with that advance, it's so good. Granted, I mean there's circumstances where he still wouldn't be able to just based on range. Like a medium throw definitely hurts it, but still, I overall nothing but good. I love it.
Is he the best pestilence now?
I always thought he was the best pestilence. Like I always thought he was. Because like, am I really taking Sabretooth as pestilence? Fuck no. Am I really gonna take Blob as pestilence? Probably not. Beast was really the only model that I thought was the next best pestilence. Cable, huh? That's a joke. Next.
I know a lot of players were taking Sabretooth or Archangel as Pestilence. As a 4-threat Pestilence, I should say.
Yeah,
like Beast was kind of like the auto Pestilence in most cases.
3 or 3 threat, yeah.
Unless you had an extra threat to play with. Like if you're playing above 17 and you didn't want to upgrade one of your models to be a punchy model.
Yeah. I don't like Sabretooth as Pestilence. I like him as War way more.
He's a long mover, right? So you can set up some. I mean, he misses us a little bit by being a smaller size base than Colossus, but overall he can set up pestilence bombs from farther away.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I like him more as War personally. That's all. I see where people are coming from, but I like Colossus in that spot more. I think he's the best one.
I am also in agreement. I think Colossus is the best pestilence too.
Is he better now with this new suite?
Oh, he's fucking good now. Like, I would say I kind of like him better in Chuck X-Men than I do Apocalypse now. Like, he's ridiculous in Chuck X-Men.
Why is that, David?
Because now you can more easily protect Chuck, and you can engineer situations to use the leadership in spots where you might not have been able to before. Because it's like, as soon as somebody attacks in range 4, you can just go, okay, well, I want to move, so I'm just going to do this ability anyway to pass power.
The problem I have with him and Chuck is if he's trying to protect Chuck, he's not going to protect Chuck because somebody's just going to throw that fucker into Chuck and he's going to die.
Fuck you, Chuck.
Well, that's the thing. He doesn't have to be near Chuck to taunt, right? Like, and you can man, there's just like so many interesting things you can do with that ability. Like you can move Colossus into a position where maybe now your opponent can't throw Colossus into Chuck because you've put yourself like in between a terrain piece or something.
So if Sap is a McLaren, or a Ferrari or some other cool sports car. Concussive is like a Ford Pinto. I'm glad that's gone. Huh?
Concussive is so fucking stupid.
It's
like, what the fuck the point?
It's just like the fucking consolation prize of the consolation prize of the consolation prize. It's so fucking bad. Like size 4 push. And it should be noted that the size 4 push on his strike now, it's also omnidirectional.
Right.
So he can pull people with the push. The size 4 throw, I also think is better than the stagger. Just having displacement on Colossus, and specifically in Apocalypse, who was notorious for just not having a lot of displacement. I think Colossus is just a lot better, generally speaking, and even more so in APOC. And obviously the taunt is better now. I think there's really going to be... You're really going to have to make some decisions on his power spend. Because with a 5 dice physical builder, he just has... So now he can spend 2 to pump his defense, he can spend 2 to taunt, he can spend 2 to advance, and he can spend 3 to spender. Like, that's a lot of things to spend power on when you've got... It's like a fucking Ferrari taste on a Pinto budget, you know what I mean?
If only there was a leadership that could pass this guy power.
Any last thoughts on Colossus before we move on to his sister? Actually,
So good.
I'm gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see Colossus on the table now. It's gonna be a totally different beast.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I feel like your opponent's gonna have to plan around this guy because, like, I'm telling you, people are gonna spam that stupid big brother because you're just gonna be like, "Oh, you attacked. I want to move Colossus now."
It's definitely good. I mean, it gives him like a kind of a shitty form of action economy.
More than he had before, that's for sure.
I mean, I guess maybe in some instances it's actually good. Like if they've been able to displace him and he's already activated, he can make an out of activation advance, which is better than normal. So it kind of depends on the circumstance, but it's good.
I do like the idea that you could, like, theoretically push somebody out of range, 2 of you, and sort of have this concept of, like, if they attack, now I can advance towards you and totally change my positioning on where I am. Like, this guy, I like him a lot. I really do.
Okay.
Hey, it only took 2 glow ups for Colossus. He got there.
He did.
Slow and steady wins the race, guys.
I mean,
Ford Pinto style.
I mean, he went from slow move to medium move plus range 2 when you attack somebody. So.
Excuse me, his move was range 5.
You're not wrong.
It's fair. It's fair. Next on our list is Colossus' sister, Magic. 2 changes for Magic.
3.
Oh, it is 3. I apologize. You're right. Her healthy side stamina went from 5. So now she's 6'5" instead of 5'5". She gained immunity to incinerate because how was that not there before? And then her Bolts of Ishtar, which is her gainer, which is now. So before you could, I guess it just adds on a crit wild on 4 dice, you can get a hex. Is that everything that's changed on Magic?
Yeah.
So how much? Nothing's worse. So how much better is she than she was before?
She's better. I'm not upset with what she got because I mean everything's better for sure. Her her stamina is definitely the biggest deal for her.
Depending on who you're playing, I would agree. If you're playing in some teams, I think Incinerate Immune is more important, but 6 stamina puts her up into the more, I use this term kind of lightly, like the more tanky 3 threats that have like a 6-5 profile, as opposed to the 5-5s that are pretty common. Like this makes her, I mean, outside of affiliations, beefier than Valkyrie now. Like obviously you could use Odin's or something on Valkyrie, but like being 6'5", that puts her up into like more of a brawler. I like it.
Which kind of makes sense the way she wants to play.
Yeah. I'm a little sad that the glow up happened after Demons was rotated.
Yeah. Yeah, she would be kind of a menace on Demons. Is adding the Hex, how big a deal is adding the Hex?
I mean,
Man,
Hex is a big deal. I like it.
You're probably gonna get this maybe once a game. I don't know.
Jarvis
If you
says,
got David Dice,
I wish it was crit hit.
Jarvis says that you have an 18.65% chance to get that off with 4 dice.
what does Jarvis have a David Dice calculation? Probably closer to like 42, 43, something like that.
I think it's just always 100, right?
Yeah. That actually sounds more accurate.
So,
I think. Are you moving on? I wanted to talk about it.
No. I think.
Okay.
I mean, I think I was going to ask actually if this does anything in terms of making New Mutants more playable.
More playable in a loose sense, I guess. I mean, she's objectively better, so New Mutants got objectively better, just on virtue of her gaining a health and immune incinerate.
Well, it just seemed like, I mean, New Mutants have got, I think there's some challenges in general, but it did seem like one of their biggest challenges was that they're one tissue, and now she's kind of not. So does that help make New Mutants at least a little bit more of an affiliation?
I mean, she's like a Puffs Extra tissue now or something. She's not like Walmart brand tissue. But, I mean, she still splatters. I think her problem is that she can't contribute to the fight well unless she's at range 2. If she's just throwing her bolt, she kind of sucks. Like, you want to get in there with the 5 dice pierce attack.
Right.
But, like, if you use your teleport to engage, you can't use it to disengage. So you're getting, like, you can port, attack, move out, and then hopefully be sort of safe. Or you can just, like, go ham and port in and double attack and hope for the best. But doing that with your leader kind of sucks. Right. Anyone who plays a 3-threat leader knows that you, like Star-Lord, Sam, Miles, like you don't play those guys like balls to the wall because you're going to lose them really quick. And I would argue that those characters are a lot easier to play effectively than Magic. Like Magic is just, she makes herself so vulnerable if you want to play her even like kind of impactfully.
Right, because Sam and Star-Lord, you can have him affecting things at range, where Magic, you want to get her into stab things.
Well, even Sam, he's got range 3, and he's got stealth, and he's got more defensive tech than her, so... I don't know. I don't think... New Mutants is such a squirrely leadership anyway, that I just don't know. It's cool, but...
It's incomplete.
Man, it's big brain.
Yeah, it's obviously incomplete. I mean, when we get more New Mutants characters, I mean, I know we've got Danny Moonstar coming, but you know, when we get some more of the roster, I think it's probably unfair to judge the roster until we get the rest of the New Mutants.
Yeah, and as far as the new trigger on her, I think, like with her glow up, I think she'll probably, like, if we see the resurgence of convo, she'll be in convo lists.
Drink.
Yeah. Well, I'm not David. You don't get to.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Is she a defender? She might make it into defenders. I don't know. We'll have to see. The thing I wanted to say is that, like, APOC, I don't think benefits that much from this trigger, because I think most people play her pretty aggressively in APOC, where you're probably going to move up and maybe throw a bolt on round 1 just to try to gen a power and get a token. And then after that, you are definitely just like teleporting into range 2 and like double stabbing people, trying to use your war superpower. So you're not going to have a lot of opportunities to even throw 4 dice to get the trigger. I think that trigger will be quote unquote more impactful in a non-APOC affiliation using her, because I think you'll throw the bolts more often. But even then, like, what did you say it was? 16% chance? 18. Okay. So we've got to throw it like over 5 times to get the trigger on average.
Not quite 1 in 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, that probably means once every other game.
Something like that. It's the least impactful of the glow up. But immune incinerate, like, that's, if you're gonna be immune to one condition, I think you pick incinerate. You can make an argument for stun or stagger for sure.
Well,
but incinerate is pretty brutal.
Well, with her health,
and it's very common.
Yeah, with her health pool, I think definitely being immune to incinerates. David, any thoughts about magic and convocation?
I mean, I already love that bitch in convocation, so she's just better.
All right, Patrick's making us drink.
That was
almost a force shot. That was like peer pressure shot.
I mean, I sort of set it up, so I'm not sure that actually counts. But
sounds like some Trump rule bending right there.
Well,
making it up as you go along.
I mean, you are aware of what I do for a living.
Yeah, I am.
Any last thoughts on magic before we move on?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Next is Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler has updated timing in his teleporting strike and his brimstone blitz. David, can you explain what's different with Nightcrawler?
He also has one other thing that's pretty fucking huge. His stun is no longer auto. It is on damage.
I thought you were going to say something else.
Yep.
I think he does have something else that's pretty huge.
What's that, JP?
Oh, if I got to explain it, it's not funny.
That's 2 dick jokes today.
Oh, we're going for a record.
I don't know, man. I feel like the way this podcast usually goes, we're behind the pace.
I know. I'm kind of thinking that too now.
So, David, can you explain how the timing for Nightcrawler has changed?
Did the timing actually change? I don't think it did.
Well, the AMG's website said updated timing for teleporting strike and brimstone blitz. I'm looking at it too.
No, there's no, like, his haha was never before damage.
So haha does add in after the attack is resolved if it dealt damage. Whereas before it was after damage is dealt.
Oh, okay. So I guess it is a different timing because when damage being dealt is its own timing step.
Okay. So could that make a difference for things like aggressives or things that basically reactive stuff?
No, it doesn't change any of that, right? Because attackers stuff resolves before defenders. Yeah, I don't know what that changes, but
I mean, it kind of changes, doesn't it? Like, because like aggressive typically doesn't activate unless you do damage. So giving the stun without doing damage makes a little bit of a difference.
Yeah, I mean the stun without damage. The stun having a thing is definitely a big deal because last Friday when I played Landon, he had stunned my Strange and my Gladiator with Nightcrawler, and he didn't do damage to either one of them. Which turned out to be what made it so like Strange couldn't neutered Strange, him getting stunned.
Yeah.
So I think losing the auto stun is a big deal. Like it's a big deal. I don't know whether did his puff of smoke change timing? I don't think it did, right? It's still after.
Well, it said it's updated. It said there's updated timing in Brimstone, and I am.
So while you guys are looking,
I'm not seeing where the language has changed at all.
Alex, I think I've heard that blue guys on average have bigger dicks than green guys. So do you think that if you had to take a guess, do you think Nightcrawler's dick is bigger than Hulk's dick?
100%. It's Nightcrawler's dick is bigger.
I don't know. Just strictly based on like size, because like Hulk is massive, so I mean it's gonna be bigger. But
I think that guy keeps fucking Banner's dick when he changes to Hulk.
Nightcrawler's is definitely bigger than Green Goblin's. Fuck that guy.
I think
this is not Willem Dafoe Green Goblin either.
I think it's really important to the size has to be in comparison to your total, to your total body mass. I mean, if
does it though? Have you ever seen a gorilla's dick? They're little.
No.
Gorillas have the smallest dicks to proportionate size of any of the primates.
See, David backs me on this one. He's seen plenty of gorilla dicks. He knows these facts.
My wife's favorite animal is gorillas, so like I know a shit ton of random facts about gorillas.
And tune in next week for another episode of Wild. So, do these changes, as I desperately try to change the subject, do these changes make any significant difference for how Nightcrawler is played? The auto stun, definitely, I think is a legit nerf. Other than that, is there anything that really Nightcrawler plays different than he did before?
Yeah, I mean it does. Like coming from both sides of it, like I played Nightcrawler a lot in Chuck because I think Nightcrawler's really good, and playing against Nightcrawler, like the auto stun thing it's gonna come up more often than not.
This nerf felt like it was from like maybe a parallel universe or something where Nightcrawler is just ripping shit up in the meta. Like if they never released Bill and they never released Shang-Chi and they never released some of these other 4 threats, Sif, maybe he's just fucking people up with that big blue dick and they're like, we need to nerf this stun on his attack, and they just brought it across all the parallel universes.
I would imagine that maybe the Europeans are playing more of Nightcrawler. Fuck, I don't know. Maybe that's it.
It does strike me.
Blame it on the Euros.
It does strike me as odd that if they're going to pick something to nerf, it's not like his continuous rotating spender that he. I mean that always felt like the thing about Nightcrawler that had the potential to be the most, and that does not seem to be different at all, unless I'm missing something.
It's just weird. He's solid, but like he's not a meta choice. He's not getting splashed anywhere. There was like a lot of conjecture when he was previewed that he was going to be a terror, and I was kind of on the side of yes, he's going to be a terror. And I think in the right setups, he is actually really, really good. But usually AMD responds to public outcry rather than internal testing. So I don't feel like there's been any chatter on Nightcrawler being OP in the past year. Like when he first came out, people were like, "Oh, auto stun and the infinite spender is going to be amazing." It's kind of like them coming out with like a nerf for Rogue or something. Like,
it does.
Yeah,
feel
she's
like
good, but like, what? Nobody's playing her. What are you doing? I don't understand.
It does kind of feel like Nightcrawler sort of caught astray.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand where they would be coming from with that one. I mean, I was thinking about the nerf, and I'm like, it is rare for a builder to have an auto condition. But is that cause to nerf it? I don't know. Because there's plenty of spenders that have auto conditions, and I'm sure if I put my mind to it, I might be able to think of. Yeah, there are, but I mean, they're usually like bleed though. Like Blade has an auto bleed on his builder. Venom has an auto bleed. Carnage. There's probably. It wouldn't surprise me. What's up?
Just wait. We're gonna get to Carnage. Just you wait.
Oh yeah, blow the doors off with that one. There might be some poisons, like auto poison maybe. I don't know. It's not super common, but there are other builders or gainers that have auto effects on them. I don't know. I'm just trying to get in their heads, and I can't quite figure out why they would do this nerf. I mean, it's probably fine, but it doesn't feel like a stray. Like Corvus caught the reality gem stray.
Yeah, that's.
But like, it's not like they're homogenizing wording across a bunch of stuff, and he caught a stray like that. They just took off auto stun, and I don't know exactly why. It's a mystery. I think they're jealous of his big blue dick, honestly.
Any last thoughts on Nightcrawler before we
the auto groan? I'm trying to get to a record. I've been challenged by Alex.
I feel like that
I didn't challenge anything.
I took it as a challenge, sir. Challenge accepted.
All right, fair. Well, however you accept.
Gauntlet has been thrown.
Apparently, we need to be recording at ridiculous hours because we're awake enough.
I think Nightcrawler is still going to get played in X-Men. That's about it, though.
Yeah, that guy is stupid in Chuck X-Men. He's so dumb. Like,
definitely seems to be.
I mean, like, just the fact that it's like in Chuck X-Men, you can be like, I'm gonna spender you, and pretty much I'm gonna daze you or KO you, and there's not much you can do about it.
So next is Agent Venom, and the only change that we have is with his Project Rebirth 2.0, instead of saying that it removes a special condition, now it says that he makes a shake action, which removes a special condition. So is this this doesn't have any other technical effects other than just harmonizing the language with the rest of the game. Am I reading that right?
It does affect Wanda and Crystal because they say you can't perform shake actions to remove whatever conditions that they both prevent you from removing.
Okay. So before he would have been able to because he wasn't technically doing a shake, but now he is technically doing a shake. Okay.
Yeah, so it is a nerf, but also blah blah blah. It's just like Blades. It doesn't change the way he's fucking played unless there becomes a meta where Wanda is literally everywhere. This literally doesn't matter.
I would be there.
Inhumans have gotten more popular, and Crystal still doesn't get played. So
yeah, it's whatever.
I feel like Crystal gets played in A-Force more than Inhumans, which is kind of odd, but it is what it is.
Hey, a 3-threat long mover to special delivery is good.
Yep.
Pretty much. So next is Gambit, and Gambit, the changes are significant, but it's nothing we didn't. It looks like it's nothing we didn't know before. Kinetic Ace went from a 5 dice to 4, went from physical to energy. His 52 card pickup went down to 3 power, double wild stun, and his enhanced agility, now he can advance any direction instead of having to go away. And then he added the cards always be in my favor, where attacking, defending, or dodging, each wild counts twice. So I think we've kind of gone over Gambit's change again. I think is there anything now that we have the physical print to play card, and now that he's official, where does new Gambit sit compared to old Gambit?
He's definitely playable. He's going in my Apocalypse roster. At least for some testing.
Yeah, I think APOC definitely will try him, and some of these dice manipulation affiliations, like M'Baku and Steve 3, are going to give him a go. I mean, they've probably been giving him a go since this card was spoiled. I don't know how that's going, but obviously, like, his dice consistency is just kind of crazy with those leaderships, so yeah. He's still kind of squishy. He gained a little bit of defensive tech with the double wilds on dodges and blocks, but he's still like a 5/5, so yeah. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I don't think he's going to be a new like world beater, but he's going to be dangerous if you see him on the table. Just
David, any
he's going to actually get played. Like, that's the thing, right? Like, Gambit's so iconic. Like, he should be on the table, and like not seeing him on the table was sad. So it'd be nice to see him on the table.
100% could not agree with you.
So I did want to bring up something about Gambit, and just a thought I had. When it comes to his superpowers, he lost the superpower to add dice, but gained the superpower where wild count twice. Is it? I haven't done the math, and I'm just curious. Like, are the double wild better than adding 2 dice for attack? I know the double wilds is definitely better for defense and dodge because the other one was only for attacks.
It is because you're not spending 3 on it.
Right.
Okay, that's fair. Excluding the power, I'm just talking raw dice. Are the 2 dice better?
I think the 2 dice are definitely better then.
Okay.
They'd have to be.
Because it just made me think, like, because all the other characters that added dice to their attacks, instead of removing the power, they just made the power cheaper.
Yeah, I feel like saying excluding the power is a little bit like, other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play?
I mean, fair, but like thinking about it, like if they just changed the power to go from 3 power to 2 power, like Storm and Iron Man did, would that have been just as good or better than counting wilds twice on everything?
Counting wilds twice gets complicated because he's got ways to manipulate the wilds.
Well,
so he gets more mileage out of that superpower than like someone else who would have it. Plus, like if someone puts him in, say, Steve 3, now he can switch. He's got more wild manipulation. So,
I mean, I think on average, because a wild is 1 out of 8, which would then go to 2 out of 8. Whereas if you're rolling 2 extra dice. You've got 2 faces, which each have a 5 out of 8 chances to get a. So, I think the numbers are better for the 2 dice than for the extra wild.
Yeah. I think just barely squeaks it out. I think.
I think you're right.
Hits are only 4 out of 8. Or successes.
It is 4 out of 8.
Oh, it is. I'm sorry. It is. You're right.
I still think the 2 dice squeaks it out just barely, though, because it relies rolling the wild. Well, I guess no, it doesn't, because like you just have to roll a hit and have a power. I don't. It was just a thought I had. I didn't think one way or the other was better per se. It was just a thought that I had.
If nothing else, it's more consistent and it's interesting. I mean, it's kind of something different, and it I don't know. It does seems to feel like what Gambit would feel like. I don't know why, but first time I read that, I just said like, okay, yeah, he likes wilds and he makes the most. I don't know. It seemed like it's more thematic, if nothing else.
Yeah, I love it.
I mean, I think Gambit literally thinks of life as aces or wilds, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Without a doubt. That's the only way he thinks.
Because the cards always be in his favor, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with what they did with Gambit. Is he the only character that counts wilds for attack, dodge, and defense? Is he the only character that counts them double?
I would guess that he is.
Yeah.
And don't quote me on this. I think there may be another character or two out there that counts wilds twice for a specific thing, but not everything. Because like Ultron and the Sentinels count it for mystic attacks.
Yeah, the robots counted on their defense.
But it's only their defense, and it's only for mystic attacks.
Right. I think, because the Sentinels do too.
Yeah, both Sentinels and both Ultrons. But I think that's it.
I think that's right.
So it's super neat. I like it.
Okay. Next on our list is Toad.
We're forgetting Doc Ock.
Oh my god! I can't believe I completely forgot about Doc Ock.
Gosh.
He does count wilds on his builder for both of them, for both Doc Ocks. Yeah, So okay, there's 6 characters in the game that do it. 7 if you include Gambit, but Gambit's the only one that does
I thought we were talking strictly defense.
No. I was just saying in general.
I gotcha.
I'm not gonna lie. When David said you forgot Doc Ock, my first thought was he didn't get a new character card. What the hell?
That's exactly where my mind was at too.
Okay, good.
I was also thinking like OG Doc Ock. Well, nobody plays him, so who cares?
It's fair. So Toad, they balanced his stamina out. So instead of 5-3, he's 4-4. And then his tongue lash now, instead of a push on a wild, he poisons. So we know Toad is like the premier 2-thread extract. How does this change? Does it make him better? Does it make him worse? Does it really move the needle at all in what Mortimer can do on the table?
He is definitely worse. That's for sure. I don't know how bad, but he's definitely worse.
And explain why he's worse.
Losing displacement on a 2-threat is fucking huge. And I think the math on him getting one shot by getting a size 4 thrown into him changes from like I think it's like 40 or 30% to like 75% chance or something like that. Because he has 4 health versus 5 health, right? Like,
yeah, the breakpoint's pretty significant there. He still does the thing with range 2 with the mid grab. He's the cheapest kind of pseudo safe mid grab. They had kind of rumors around the campfire before all these came out, and Toad was rumored to have a push toward him. But then when the cards broke, it wasn't there, and instead we have poison.
Right.
Which, like, to echo David, I think he was the only 2-threat that had displacement to begin with, I believe.
Other than Rocket Spender.
Right? Yeah, I suppose, but that's weird.
Yeah.
Because then you need another... You need to be shooting the target that you don't want to displace. It gets weird. So just like randomly displacing people and like hopping on points was just a play pattern that he had, which was really freaking annoying, and he doesn't have it anymore. I guess Poison's kind of plays into Apocalypse more, but, well, I shouldn't even say more, because having displacement on a model in Apocalypse was kind of a big deal. I mean, obviously, Colossus got the glow up, but Toad was kind of an every game piece where Colossus is not going to be, so they probably, in general, lost displacement.
And they didn't lose displacement, though, the way I see it. Now, bear with me.
Why?
Gambit's going to get played more, and he has displacement. So it's kind of a wash, I feel.
No, I don't agree with it. Because Gambit is what? Death or Pestilence?
Death or Famine.
No, sorry, death or Famine, I mean. So Famine, I could take Blob with displacement, or Death, I could take Toad with displacement. And
I'm just saying overall. And
to
we
replace
all know
Toad,
get played more.
To replace Toad with Gambit, you have to be playing at 18 or higher, rather than 17. And I think a lot of the APOC lists are running majority 17.
Fair. I get what you're saying. I think overall, I think it's a wash for Apocalypse. Or gauging displacements.
We'll agree to disagree on it.
Yeah, I think, to echo JP's sentiment, I think Patrick had mentioned that Patrick Dunford, sorry, when he won the Mutant Weekender in England, he had said something about like making sure majority of his crisis were 17 threats, because that's the threat he wanted to play at.
Yeah. I mean, Toad's still good, but he's definitely... I mean, Toad has always been the best 2 in the game. Forever and ever and ever and ever. I guess, since the Okoye nerf. And even then, he was probably just as good as Okoye, in his specific role. So taking him down a peg is fine. I think it's good. It's fine for the game. The consolation prize is you get your 3 tokens for him dazing faster in APOC, right?
Well, and he's also not quite as ridiculously fragile on his backside.
Yeah, which, I mean, I'll take a 5-3 over a 4-4 all day, but especially in his role. Because if you roll up, his one thing is to roll up and grab a center objective. And if you do that, you want to hold that thing as long as possible. And extra health definitely ensures that more than not. So, but yeah, I mean, 4 on the back is, I mean, I'm glad he's not a 4-3, right?
Well, yeah. Okay, any kind of final thoughts before we get to our final character card?
The big deal character card, the one that makes it worth it all.
Can we talk about his new Zesty art?
Sure.
Nicolas Cage on Toad. I love it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I mean, I adore Patrick Brown's work, and I hate bad, but yeah, that one's a miss for me.
I mean, Toad has always been just kind of a goofy character, but goddamn, they didn't do him any favors. All this new art.
I think the best art was that Doc Strange.
Oh man,
art.
Oh, all the new art is really good. I like all of it. I think it's all kind of an upgrade, except Toad. Toad. I mean, the old Toad picture sucked too, but this one is just what the fuck.
Yeah,
Like, I'll never eat fruit by the foot
new-
again.
I even like Magic's new artwork. I think her artwork is cool.
Oh, her new artwork is the shit.
It's
I
fine.
love that one.
It's
Magic's-
good. It's very good. I did like the old art where she was stepping through her limbo disc, but that's I mean the new one's fantastic. She looks great. Yeah, and I mean, you know, nobody's perfect, and I'm a monster Patrick Brown, so I almost hesitate to say anything, but yeah, the Toad art was a miss for me.
Patrick, on her injured side, she is stepping through her disc, so you can rest. You can be happy. You can sleep soundly tonight. Yeah.
Well, it's behind her. She's not stepping through it.
What do you mean? What do you think she's doing? Mooning it?
Well, I mean, like the other
She's
card,
posing in front of her disc?
yeah, the other card, she was like, you couldn't like half her.
She's
half
a
of her leg.
poser.
She is.
She's literally leaping through her disc.
She and Yelena need to get together. Yelena can call her a poser too.
Poser.
So, new Carnage. He's got two changes. His stamina on his healthy side went up 8, so now he is 8-7 instead of 7-7. And his Paint the Town red changed. And as far as I can tell, the only thing that's changed on the Paint the Town red was when he makes his extra symbiote tendrils attack, now he gets 2 extra dice.
He gains the power thing like X-23 and Angela.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he gets the benefit there too.
Okay, so that's so that does that make a difference before he makes his symbiotic tendrils attack? I mean, is there a difference in terms of when he gets that power? I mean, does the extra power?
Yeah.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah,
So
it
he
matters
can-
a lot because the Paint the Town red is 3 power.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And he also has
And-
other ways. He's like Sadistic Glee is like a super spammable superpower, so
Okay.
he's probably spending 2 a turn just doing that. Whereas like Angela and X-23 are just that power is just kind of
So
not getting used ever after round 2 or 3 or something.
so now it's like
The other thing with that is too he needs to be painting the town red. Like if he's not doing that, he's just dying, right? Like getting him to be able, getting it to be able to use the power is a pretty big deal, actually.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't have the card in front of you and haven't played Carnage in a while, so that's everybody. It's after if the character dazes or KOs an enemy character, after the attack is resolved, the character may use power. He all damage from itself, advances short, makes a symbiote tendrils attack, which is a builder, and then adds 2 dice. So yeah, given the fact that he has a 5-1-1 defense line, more than likely the way he's going to stay alive is to try to paint the town red as much as possible to get his health pool back up.
Well, and he gained health, right? Like he's a
1 extra,
one
extra health on his healthy side. But I just want to make sure I clarify because I wasn't getting it right. So before he had to have the Paint the Town red cost 3 power. So before, like with X-23, he had to have the banked before he made the attack that dazes or KO the character. Now, if he gets power from dazing or KOing the character and it gets him to 3, he can spend that 3 to paint the.
Yes.
Okay. So that is
again.
That's pretty significant.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal.
Okay.
But what the fuck? Why is he 1 energy, 1 mystic? That shit is so fucking stupid.
Like, at what point are raw health points equal to defense? I feel like we're getting there with him. Like 8-7. Let's just compare him to like a 6-5, for sake of argument. A 6-5 4 threat. So we have 2-2. So we have 4 extra health. You are hitting 3 point low, 3 point something low out of 8 sides on a defense dice. So say you're losing 2 defense dice per attack. So you would take 3 attack, or let's see.
So you're probably losing 1 more health than you would if you had 3 dice. Because if you two extra defense dice rolls is going to average out to a little less than 1 success.
It'd be well, it's closer to like 3 defense rolls equals 1 defense.
Yeah, I think that's probably
So
I think that's true.
If you take 3 attacks, that would be 6 extra dice. So that would be let's go 4 attacks to make it 8. You're blocking 3, so every 4 attacks, it's like equivalent to 3 health, or no, 2 health, right? No, 3 health. So 3 health, 4 attacks is 3 health. And he's got 4 total, but he also has to paint the town red so he can heal. I don't know. It gets weird.
Yeah,
the break points get weird on him, right? Because if you can't sink enough just raw damage into him, he can paint the town red and heal it all back. If he gets to paint the town red once for like 4 or 5 health, I mean, Jesus Christ, the guy's got 20 health at that point.
Well, he really becomes kind of a target choice character for your opponent, because I mean, you really, if he's very much if you come at the king, you best not.
Yeah.
If you're gonna take him down, I mean, he's very takedownable if you have energy. But if you don't, you've juiced him up, and you run the risk of having him paint the town red. And oh, by the way, don't bring grunts in.
Yeah, that's true. They didn't put a non-grunt model.
Right. I was kind of
language in there.
I was kind of expecting that. I was waiting for that language to be there. So
yeah.
And with the change in the timing where he can get the power from the attack that does the dazing to paint the town red, I guess it's defensive tech. It's
gonna
stay
be
alive.
really cool is if they made that superpower work off of his area, but it didn't specify enemy character, and that just seems very thematic for Carnage. Carnage killing a grunt and getting fucking paint the town red off of that. That seems so thematic and so fucking cool. Yeah. But no, nope.
So is this change? Because I think it's fair to say it's a buff. Is it enough where Carnage? Are you going to see Carnage on the table for anything other than Carnage is cool and I want to play him?
It's a good question. Like, anytime you're adding 2 dice to something is pretty good. It depends on, I don't know. Like, he can throw a 7 dice attack on his turn for 2 power.
I wish he could interrupt that with sadistic glee.
Interrupt what?
That way he could interrupt the paint the town red.
Oh.
So that way he can add sadistic glee to the symbiote tendrils, so get 9 dice out of it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I don't know. I don't think it makes him like awesome, but I don't know. Adding 2 dice to that is pretty good, and they're basically hexed when he's attacking them.
Right.
So being able to throw 7 dice. I mean, you are spending 2, but it's still a builder. It's kind of like a sentinel attack, but being able to throw 7 dice builder on a 4 threat is pretty good.
Well, that's after. By definition, that's after you've already dazed or KO'd another monster.
I'm saying with
Right.
sadistic glee.
Oh, right. Gotcha.
Yeah. He can just do it naturally.
Right, that's true.
And then you chain it into a Paint the Town red that you can also just automatically add 2 dice. I don't know. I mean, I think he's gonna be like he's always been, right? But he's just better. He's like a feast or famine gladiator type. When he's on a roll, he's probably gonna be on a roll.
Right.
Yeah, no doubt. He might show up in spider foes more often. Like he'll at least be considered, I think.
Right.
So it makes that spider foes starter box not a waste of time because it comes with carnage.
I do quite like him with custom upgrades, not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Why is that?
Because he can't go lower than 1.
Yeah, exactly. He can't go lower than 1, so it doesn't matter for 2 of his defenses. And it gives him extra dice, which is just stupid.
He's gonna paint the town red pretty hard on that side of the board. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna make Carnage popular in the meta, but it is a buff. It's decent. They could have probably done a little more, but I don't know. It's such a weird mechanically imbalanced character that I don't know. I think there's a tipping point where he's becomes OP. I don't know where that point is, but I don't think he's there for sure. But I'd imagine it's kind of hard to balance him just because of the way his card mechanics are.
I do like that his maximum carnage is a lot like AV's beam. So he could throw some fucking damage.
With sadistic glee, it affects all the attacks of the area attacks. So throwing 9 dice area that has a trigger that deals more damage, and then, well, I guess you need a lot of power, but if you had full power, you could paint the town red after a maximum carnage if you dazed one of the people.
If you're doing that if you're doing it as the area, if you you've got 3 characters in an area attack and you daze the second character, do you paint the town red after dazing the second character and then go to the third area attack character?
It's after that attack is resolved, so yes.
Okay.
Because the attacks are resolved individually on an area, right? So he would paint the town red immediately after that attack daze, even if it's not the last attack of the attack chain.
That could get ridiculous.
Which is kind of cool because he can advance too.
Right.
I thought about it, and yeah, I'm liking it. It's adding that 2 dice is a huge deal on Paint the Town Red.
It's really big.
Deal, and I'm liking it a lot more.
100%.
I don't know if he'll get played as he's definitely not going to get played a large amount because of that, but he might actually get some play.
If they would have just made this guy 5-2-2 or 5-2-1, man.
Oof. With 8 health, being able to heal all. Oof.
I feel like defense dice are generally kind of overvalued, though. Anyway,
I agree.
It just takes away your ability to spike them. But man, how many times have you rolled 2 dice on defense and had 0 successes? Like your guys incinerated, you have 2.
Wrong person.
Yeah, I was about to say. I'm trying to remember the last time.
I'm not directing this toward David. But I don't know, 1 to 2. It's marginal at best. It just sucks because he can't spike. What would it take to kill him in one shot? you need a mystic or energy attacker, and you need an average of 4 damage per shot. Like, I mean, I guess.
So I'm
Probably.
doing the math. Doing the
Yeah.
math.
Decent.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. If you're needing an average of 4, that means you need to be 8 dice.
Yeah, I mean,
you're gonna have to hit him with 8 dice twice.
ish. I mean, you got to include crits or any rerolls,
Right.
whatnot. But like,
Right.
you
I
need to hit
think,
him
I think
pretty
that's like CGR, like getting 2 hits on or 2 crits on average, counting skulls to get the 4 hits with both attacks. And
You need to have a talk with
one-shotting
Patrick
Carnage.
CGR, because that is not how that CGR was rolling dice. Jesus Christ.
I'm working on him. I'm working on him. He's new. He's new in my roster.
The fact that Carnage heals, though,
Yeah.
I mean, if he heals to full, he could be one of those characters. Like, now that we're getting up to like 8 health, people will hold like a Wolverine activation until he's taking damage so that he can healing factor 2 at the end of the turn and like get some value out of that. Like, I could see Carnage being an action or an activation where you hold him when he's full health. You bait some attacks into him. They juice him up. Then he, sadistic glees into some attacks and dazes, and then paints the town red. He fully heals.
So
the other thing with him too is his doesn't his fucking is it maximum carnage? Which one is it? Is it one of his tactics card lets him attack, right?
Yes.
So he could
trigger. It has movement too. It's either I think he might move them, or he moves toward. He can move. There's a movement.
I think
he
moves
too.
them.
Yeah, I think
that's right.
He moves them. Yeah, it's Carnage Rules. I think is the card.
So he could pull somebody in and then like daze them and then paint the town red with the power, and then that's pretty fucking good too, right? Getting 2 attacks in an activation without spending an action.
Yeah, he does have. That's one thing I did want to mention too. I kind of forgot. He does have really good tactics cards. The other one's good too. It lets him root people for X. So There Will Be Carnage is he can spend any number of power to play it. Choose any number of characters within 3. Equal to.
Yeah, for every power he spends, he can root a character within 3.
Yeah, it's good. Carnage Rules is probably the de facto pick, though.
Yeah,
it's expensive though. It costs 4, but you choose an enemy character within 4 of him. Advance the character short. After the advance, Carnage may make a symbiote tendrils attack targeting the chosen character. So it's an advance, it's not a push.
Yep.
So they can't block it. It's within range 4, and he has a range 3 attack. So a short advance, even off a small base, is going to get him within 3. So he's always going to be able to hit the target.
Yep.
Unless there's a building in the way, and they don't have flight or wall crawler or something.
And
but it's pretty.
He'd be able to sadistically it too.
Yeah, that's the big difference, right? Like he can use the power from that tendrils attack to be able to do it, as opposed to needing whatever 7 power to be able to do it.
Right.
Yeah. Having a kidnap is pretty good in this day and age. At range 4. Pretty good. I mean, it's only short, but
So let's.
The other thing too is he can sadistic glee before he does that.
He can, yeah, if he has 6 power, but yeah, he could.
So let's kind of look at the character update as a whole. We've got, I mean, the characters that got really dramatically upgraded, I think, are Doctor Strange, Clea and Colossus?
Colossus.
Does
Yeah.
Gambit does
Yeah.
Gambit fall into the category? So
Yeah.
4 significant upgrades. Doctor Strange, Clea, Colossus, and Gambit. The two threats both took a nerf. A few characters had some minor, I would say some minor buffs. X-23, Heimdall, Bishop, Magic. So
I would say Magic's a little bit more than minor. Hers is like kind of in the middle.
okay. So
Yeah, hers is middle.
So in comparison, I think this is the 3rd card update that we've had. Is that right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yes.
Third,
yes, it is the third one.
excluding like post LVO
Right.
updates.
Like
So
significant-
I feel
more than
like
a handful of characters.
Thanos and Thor 2 would have been added to this had the situation that happened to LVO not happened.
Yeah, I think so too. So I guess how big a deal, how game changing, because it felt like the other 2 card changes, I mean, you kind of felt like you had this whole new pile of characters that you were playing. How does this card update compare to that? I mean, how big of a I guess the question is, how big of a change to the game as a whole is this card update?
Compared to the previous ones?
I think people are going to start bitching about Apocalypse.
Yeah. I mean, this is kind of a blue balls update. Honestly, I think most people were expecting more. There are some significant changes, but on the whole, we've been conditioned with these character updates to expect more than this.
Now, I know they did say that they're going to be coming more frequently. So it might be that it also was, I think, fewer characters than, I think the other character updates were 20 plus characters. Am I remembering that right?
Yeah, it was, what was it, like
Yeah.
20 something.
So
I think, something like that. I don't think they quite hit 30, or if they did, it was right at the 30.
yeah, so maybe that's an unfair question to ask, because we're getting just a portion of them, and then the next boxes they're going to update, we'll get another.
Here's the thing, though. There's 16 on here. If I were to come up and tell you, hey, there's 16 character updates coming out, and then I gave you the pile of cards, I don't know.
I mean,
half of these are just nothing burgers.
For me, the only thing that it really feels like is completely altering in terms of when you're going to see the characters is Doctor Strange and Clea. I mean, those 2 really feel like those are significantly different characters, going from not really playable to playable.
I put Colossus in there too, I think.
Would you? Okay.
I think so. I think just him going from not having any control to having control is pretty big. And then being able to move around too.
My perspective of him...
I think Kingpin Crims are going to consider him, right? Like, I think now he is much more likely to be splashed.
Okay. So we've got at most 3 characters that are dramatically different, and the rest of them either nerfed or changed in a way that is nice, but is not really going to change the play at the table. I think
you got to throw Gambit in there too.
Okay.
Also, for the listeners,
Go ahead,
don't
David.
print out AV's card because his change is stupid and it doesn't really fucking matter.
But his picture is better, and he's horizontal.
His picture is better. I'm not gonna lie. That is true.
So we've got AV, we've got Bishop, we've got Angela, X-23, Cosmic Ghost Rider. So we got 5 that are kind of nothing burgers. Heimdall, almost a nothing burger. I don't know.
And I mean, 3, I think, not insignificant nerfs with Toad, Bullseye, and Nightcrawler.
Yeah. For sure.
Nightcrawler's the weird one, right? Like, I think the
Nightcrawler
nerf is
Yeah,
the nerf is good, but like, how many people were playing Nightcrawler? It's not a huge.
Yeah. So I guess what in general, how would you describe, or what are your thoughts in terms of how this particular card update is changing the game as a whole? Alex?
I am so sorry. My phone was cutting out very bad. Could you repeat your question one more time?
Sure. Just taking it as a whole, how would you describe how this character update is going to change the way the game looks as we play it going forward?
That I don't think it's going to change the game enough for us to change the way we see the game. Um, I feel this change just put life into some characters that needed it, and it took some characters, Toad and Bullseye specifically, and brought them in the line where they should have been. I just don't think it's really changing the game enough for it to be viewed a different way. I'll back up David what he said previously. People are gonna bitch about Apocalypse more, and I being the resident Apocalypse player here, it makes me sad because it always sucks when people bitch about the things you want to play. But
So you're the problem now.
I am the problem. It's fine. It's about damn time. I've been playing for fucking 6 years coming up. It's about time I'm the problem.
JP, what do you think about kind of just as a whole the effect of this card update on the game?
I mean, Bullseye and Toad pick rates are going to go down a little, which is fine. They were the most played 2s alongside Wong. APOC obviously had a bunch of, like, a quarter of the characters involved in this are in the APOC roster. So he took 1 nerf and got 3 buffs. We'll have to see. Like I said, Toad was kind of like an every game piece, so that was kind of a big nerf for him. We'll have to see if the buffs, like Magic to me is kind of an every game character too, and she got a buff, so we'll have to see where the chips land as far as buff versus nerf. I think the Toad nerf was kind of a big deal, but yeah, I mean, the Magic buff and the Colossus buff are really good, and I haven't put Gambit on the table yet, so maybe he's really good too. I think the biggest takeaways are probably the APOC, and we'll see how many people are putting OG Strange on the table. Maybe there's an OG Strange renaissance, because he did get a lot of good stuff. Hopefully it creates some room in the meta for some OG Strange play, whether that's in Convo or Defenders or even Midnight Suns. It'll be interesting. I think even in Midnight Suns he could have some play because the bump kind of shores up his lack of mobility a little bit. So I think I'm the most excited for as far as the buffs for OG Strange and maybe Colossus. I'll have to give him a go. And then the nerfs are fine except for the weird Nightcrawler nerf, which is fine too, I guess, but just weird.
David, how about you? What do you think of the card update as a whole?
Where the fuck is my Sin and Viper buff? The fuck?
Where's the Magneto buff?
I know, right? Magneto, like Dormammu, fucking Black Order in general. Like, holy shit.
Sentinels.
I mean, they could be in the chamber still, but the fact that they updated Magnetic Crush but didn't give Magneto a buff gives me very little hope that they have him in the chamber still.
Yeah, that worries me about Magneto, and the non-change to Angela just makes me sad. Although, I having both Doctor Strange and Clea become playable characters, I think I'm very excited about that. So I'm real happy about that.
I think you're
Webheads,
gonna wait on Magneto's change
I
for
hope so.
when it gets closer to that starter box.
Yeah, I hope you're right. Webheads,
So onto the meta note.
okay. Yeah.
I think, I mean, obviously Apocalypse is good. He got better. Like, I mean, I think people are going to bitch about that. I don't see a problem with it, but I'm always on the side of why make models worse? Why not just make other models better? Like, that's how I think of it. And I also think that, I mean, I think Defender's got a big buff. I think Convo, I think people are going to play Convo now. And I could see people playing OG Strange and Defenders.
Yeah.
I believe that is shot number 5.
I've lost track. JP, any thoughts about kind of the effects of this on the meta in general?
Nah, I went over everything, I think.
Okay. Alex?
Nope, I covered everything.
Alrighty, Webheads, what do you think? We'd love to know, are you a fan? Do you think that they got things right? Are there things that you would different? Are you going to play things different? We'd love to know what you're going to do with it. So hit us up on the socials. Everything's at Witty Bantercast. You can email us at wittybantercast@gmail.com, or you can support us at Patreon, Witty Bantercast. If you could, we would really appreciate it if you could subscribe and give us a rating and a review. It makes a big difference in terms of other people being able to find us and being able to grow the community. You are not out of time to get your tickets for Bugeater. So if you've listened all the way to this part, you are a devoted enough fan that you absolutely should come to Bugeater so you can see David playing his convict. Other than that, until next time, Webheads, be good.